Okay. So based on our syllabus, our learning outcomes for this topic is you will going to list the five parts of the climate system and provide examples each, and at the same time you will going to explain why classification is necessary process when studying world climates, no? So let's start na. Can you still see my PowerPoint? Please give thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Sige. Now, when we say climate of a region is ultimately actually determined by the radiation energy of the sun. And not only the radiation of the sun, but also its distribution and temporal fluctuation. No? Ay, wait lang class. Kadali lang, gid. Hello, nakalimot ko. Tanawa. Mag-login pa di ay. Kasi nag-apply ako for work from home. Hala. Hindi ako naka-login. Wait lang gid ha. For a minute. Wait lang gid class. Mag-login pa gali ko. Sorry. Mas mamaynusan ako, sayang. Abi pa lang. Abi pa lang wala ta naga-klase bisa naa sa balay. Wait lang gid ha. Okay lang. Mag-time in.
No problem, sir.
Oo.
Okay, time, sir.
Yes.
Opo.
Mag-time in lang muna ako. Earth Science. Earth Science, di ba tayo? 18 tayo, no? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. O, tama. Wait lang. Pero na. Pasok late ako. Ay, 6:30 ako naka-time in, oh. Okay. Ay, nakalimutan ko mag-time in. Sorry kayo, Lord. Sayang. Sayang ang 15 minutes late. My goodness. Sayang. Tag 200 per hour. Wow. 207. Sayang ang 207. May minus. Okay, sige, let's continue. As I said, no, aside from radiation energy from the sun, of course, there is a distribution and temporal fluctuation. So the long-term states of the atmosphere is a function of variety of interesting elements. What are those elements? No, they are solar radiation, the air masses, pressure system. Meaning, when we say pressure system, it includes the cyclone belts and even the ocean currents and the topography. So with these elements, no, kasi they are the one, no, affecting the climate of a region, we will be discussing them one by one. So let's start with solar radiation. Are you familiar with solar radiation?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
The very simplistic words para sa solar radiation is yung solar wind na tinatawag.
Okay.
Much more common siya na makikita sa sun.
Yes. So it is said that it is a radiation or energy we get from the sun. Actually, it gives us the energy, no? Yung radiation. So it also known as a short wave radiation. So tama yung sabi ni Mr. Grabe gini si David ba, best in recitation. So solar radiation is probably the most important element of a climate. Why? First and foremost, hits the Earth's surface, which in turn determines the temperature of the air above. So for example, if we will compare, no, example in our location here in the Philippines, parang we are blessed because we have received enough solar radiation. Kaya maganda yung ating temperature and even our climate. Tama ba? We have a tropical climate. Yun nga lang, hindi tayo masyado nag-ice. Walang winter dito sa atin, no? Pero, I believe that in terms of resources, mga forest, flora and fauna, mayaman talaga ang Philippines, no? Yung mga nasa Asia na location. Okay? So, the receipt of this solar radiation drives evaporation so long as there is water available. So, as long as there is water, So there is an evaporation happens. And one of the factor is the solar radiation. It helps, no, the evaporation process. So heating of the air determines its stability, which affects cloud development and precipitation. Kaya possible talaga that there is a precipitation if there is a water evaporation. So unequal heating of the earth's surface creates actually pressure gradients that results in wind, no? So every location on earth receives sunlight at least part of the year. Please take note with that. And the amount of the solar radiation that reaches any one spot on the earth's surface actually varies according to bakit dito hindi equal amount na location doon na lugar. So meaning it is affected by number one, a graphic location, the time of day, season, ano pa, local landscape, and even the local weather. So solar radiation actually comes in many forms. What are they? Such as we have visible light, no, nakikita natin, the radio waves, the heat or the infrared, ano pa, X-rays, and ultraviolet rays. O, di ba? So, ganun siya nakikita natin ang solar radiation or nauumit natin with these types of waves. Okay? Mm-mm. No nga, visible light, radio waves, ano pa daw? Heat, infrared, X-rays, and ultraviolet rays. So the measurements for solar radiation are higher on clear, sunny day, and usually low on cloudy days. When the sun is down, or there are heavy clouds blocking the sun, meaning the solar radiation is measured at zero. So yun siya ang unang factor of the element affecting our climate. Second, may I request Nish Ellis to read the number 2 element? Nish Ellis. Yung pangalan sa Google Meet. Nish, are you still there? Walang Nish dito?
Ara, sir. Opo. Magabi
Okay.
ko, sir. Shopee-shopee daw, yeah.
Ikaw na lang Enzo, read number 2 kung nakikita ba.
Patay ka. Ako?
Si Enzo na lang kay Dugay ka mag-respond.
Temperature. Temperature is very important factor in determining the weather because it influences or controls other elements of the weather such as precipitations, humidity, clouds, and atmosphere pressure.
Okay, sige. Also, it is said that temperature also is very important factor in determining our weather. Why? No? How can we measure temperature pala? By the use of what? What is our instrument?
Thermometer, sir. Thermometer. Thermometer, sir. Thermometer.
Yes. Okay, David, you are raising your hand.
Sabat naman nila, sir.
Okay, so we have temperature. So temperature is said that it's very important because it influence or control other elements of the weather such as the precipitation, humidity, the clouds, and even the atmospheric pressure. Okay? So, halimbawa, titingnan natin ano ba ang temperatura dito na side, no? Bakit palaging malamig dito, no? So, it's very important element. Number 3 element, si Miss Nezzy na. Niche, si Niche.
Air masses, wind, and storms. An air masses is a large body of air with generally uniform temperature and humidity. Air masses control the characteristic of temperature, humidity, and stability. Location relative to source regions of air masses in part determines the variation of the day-to-day weather and long-term climate of a place.
Okay, so when we say air masses, wind, or storms, and storms, meaning they are the large body of air with generally uniform temperature and humidity. So another factor din is sila in determining our weather or even our climate. Why? Because the characteristics, these air masses, no, yung huge air masses, our air masses, winds, and storms, they control, no, the characteristics, of course, of our temperature, ano pa yon, humidity, and even the stability, no? So, it's depend pa rin doon sa location natin or the source regions of air masses, in part, determines the variation of the day-to-day weather and long-term climate of a place, no? Ganun siya. Usually, saan ba na mga lugar ang palaging ginastorm? Or may bagyo?
Pacific.
Malapit sa mga Pacific regions, right?
Nearby
Okay.
sa water.
So, sa
Malapit
Philippines,
sa may mga
tayo, palagi ba tayong dinadaanan ng bagyo?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Opo.
So, talagang there is a possibility. In a year, ilang bagyo ba dumadaan sa atin?
3-5.
Wow, 3-5 lang.
20
From
plus, sir.
20 plus, no?
20
From
plus, sir.
January to December, imagine, no? Meron pang ibang malalakas, no? Pero, based in the history, dito ba sa South Cotabato, nadaanan ba tayo ng sobrang lakas?
Hindi po.
Parang
Not
wala.
actually.
Ano, David?
Wala.
Wala, no? Wala din, sabi ni Nish. Why? What is the reason? Bakit kaya si South Cotabato hindi masyadong nakaranas ng sobrang lakas na bagyo?
Napapalibugan po tayo ng kapante.
Because of the mountain ranges po.
Correct. No? Because it is said that, no, kanina, yung binabalik-balik natin, because of our location and aside from that, we are surrounded with different or the mountain ranges. Sama din. You know what? In TikTok, I see it also na, di ba merong bagyo ngayon sa Luzon? Or saan ba yun na part? Yung may pinakamalakas, yung bago lang.
Mountains.
Saan? Saan ba yung pinaka-eye ng bagyo? So, it is said that because of actually, they are very thankful of Sierra Madre, no? Sierra Madre ranges. Kasi kung walang mga bundok like that, totally, no? Ano talaga sila, wipe out, ubos. So, there is a function talaga bakit may napapalibutan tayo ng mga mountains and we are very thankful here in Coronadal or in South Cotabato, no? We are plateau tayo dito, no? Marami tayong parts na may mga mountain ranges tayo and it helps us to block yung mga strong, no? Typhoon, yung mga gagrabe kasi nga, yun ang ating location. Now, so winds, when we say winds, the horizontal movement of the atmosphere is called wind. So when we say horizontal, ano yun siya? Pataas o pahalang?
Pataas.
Horizontal.
Pahalang, sir.
Bahalang kasi vertical man yata yung pataas, no? So wind can be felt only when it is in motion. Naniniwala ba kayo dyan? That we can only feel the wind when it is in motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, David. David? Nag-raise ka ng hand.
Nag-raise ba ako, sir?
Wala. Napindot lang.
Pwede rin naman sumagot.
Okay, go.
Actually, the reason why tinatawag na wind ang isang is, siyempre, the difference is yung tinatawag na motion. Air is something na constant, which is yung motion niya is simple lang, na nakasteady lang siya. While na matatawag mo ng air na wind, since siyempre, gumagalaw na siya. That's
Okay.
it.
Correct, no? Pero we are talking here with huge motion niya talaga, no? So when actually wind is the result of those horizontal differences in the air pressure. So wind is simply the movement of air from a high pressure to low pressure, no? So the speed of the wind is determined by the differences between the high and the low pressure. Can you give me an example? Where can we find a high pressure and a low pressure? Sige nga. Who can give me an example? Kasi it is said that the movement of the air or the wind is from high pressure to low pressure. Who can explain?
Dagat, sir.
Yes, David.
Dagat.
Paano ang movement?
Well, since di ba tinatawag na evaporation, and evaporation leads to huge masses of air, which causes yung tinatawag na interference of weather, yun po. So sabihin natin, di ba, sa dagat napakainit.
Okay.
And it causes na mag-evaporate yung mga tubig. And yung mga evaporated na tubig na yun, lumalaki ng lumalaki hanggang sa tumigas. So which causes na maging high pressure area. Pero after sabihin natin, a few hours or a few days or a few months, magiging low pressure area, which causes it to turn into a huge typhoon, or siyempre, swerte-swerte na natin kung bagyo lang.
Okay, so thank you, David. Grabe na si David, no? Kanang mag-share gid siya sa iyang experience, and that's good. Yeah. Kasi usually typhoon, yung mata ng mga bagyo or yung typhoon first created talaga doon sa in between of the ocean. Kasi nga tama din yung sabi ni David, no? There is a high pressure there, no? May wind na, tapos meron pang rate of evaporation. Usually, isa siya sa factor na namumuo talaga ang mga bagyo. So the greater the difference, the faster the wind speed. And the closer the isobar, stronger the winds. Okay? So after that, the wind brings with it the temperature of the area it is coming from. Therefore, a high pressure in a warm region will make the temperature in the low pressure area higher. So a wind chill is the effect of the wind making it feel colder than it actually is, no? So and the wind speed increases, air is moving more quickly and therefore removes warm air, therefore making it seem colder than the actual temperature, no? So yun siya yung parang process. Okay? So the last, I think this is the last element ba? Number 4, pressure system. May I request Keisha to read? What is the pressure system?
Okay, sir. Pressure system. Air pressure is the weight of air resting on Earth's surface. Air has specific weight. This weight exerted by the air is atmospheric pressure. It is defined as the force per unit area exerted against a surface by the weight of air above that surface in the Earth's atmosphere. Pressure systems have a direct impact on the precipitation, and in general, places dominated by low pressure tend to be moist, while those dominated by high pressure are dry.
Okay, so aside from wind, no, we have here the pressure system. Of course, if we will going to observe them, no, by anong tawag natin diyan, by micro observation, there is pressure in the air, no? An air pressure, it is said that it is the weight of air resting on the earth's surface, kasi we are surrounded with air. So the moment na if you will going to, you are referring to the weight of the air, you are talking with the pressure of the air, or the air pressure. And please take note that air has always a specific weight, no? Because this weight exerted by the air is because of atmospheric pressure. So when we say atmospheric pressure, it is said that it is the force per unit area exerted against a surface by the weight of air above that surface in the Earth atmosphere. So actually those pressure system said, no, binasa kanina ni Keisha, have a direct impact on the precipitation. So in general, ito nang sabi niya that places dominated by a low pressure tend to be moist doon sa mga low pressure area, and while those dominated by high pressure are usually dry, no? Okay. So the personality of precipitation is affected by those seasonal movement of the global and regional pressure system. Now, usually ba kung magkaroon ba ng bagyo yung binabalita, ano ba doon, saan ba nag-umpisa? Is it in the low pressure area or in the high pressure area? Hello? Ano ba? Usually. Saan
Kung
ba?
sila magsagot, sir.
Okay, yes. No, sometimes ito yung mga tinatawag natin ng mga hanging habagat at hanging, ano yung isa?
Amihan, sir.
Amihan. Yes, okay. Sometimes they causes din kasi some typhoons, no? When, for example, the high pressure area, the winds in the high pressure will meet the low pressure area, no? Pero usually, ano ba talaga yung causes? May namumuo na naman bagyo because on this area, is it high pressure or low pressure?
Low pressure, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
on
sir,
the,
yung
ano? Jane May?
low pressure, sir.
Yes, usually talaga it started with a low pressure area on the LPA kasi it is said that no even in the places with low pressure area tend to be moist. Oh, medyo mabasa or moist doon while those
Low
dominated
pressure, sir.
on the high pressure are always dry. So halimbawa, ibalita doon ni Kuya Kim na may papasok na naman ng malakas na LPA or low pressure area papasok at later, because of that wind, nandun pa talaga siya sa dagat, rate of evaporation, nandun, grabe ang air pressure. So, actually, usually, it started lang talaga with a small winds, no? Doon siya nag-uumpisa. And then, later on, magiging malakas na siya na bagyo. May mga mata ng bagyo. Kasi nga, matagal siya sa dagat, mas grabing area o grabe yung air pressure kaya totally lumalakas talaga, no? Lumalakas yung bagyo niya. Okay? Sige. Ay, meron pa pala. Another element is the ocean currents. May I request Hazel Grace to read what is an ocean currents?
Wait lang. Ocean currents greatly affect the temperature and precipitation of a climate. Those climates bordering cold currents tend to be drier as the cold ocean water helps stabilize the air and inhibit cloud formation and precipitation. Air traveling over cold ocean currents loses energy to the water and thus moderate the temperature of nearby coastal locations. Air masses traveling over warm ocean currents promote instability and precipitation. Additionally, the warm ocean water keeps air temperature somewhat warmer than locations just inland from the coast during the winter.
Okay, yes, very good. So another element we have here the ocean currents. No, it is said that it also affects our temperature and even the precipitation of a climate. No, why? It's because those climates bordering cold currents tend to be drier as the cold ocean water helps stabilize the air and inhibit cloud formation and precipitation. So, remember the air traveling over cold ocean currents lose its energy to the water and thus moderate the temperature of a nearby coastal location. It is said also that the air masses doon napapunta naman sa mga warm ocean currents promote instability and precipitation. Additionally, the warm ocean water keeps air temperature somewhat warmer than location just inland from the coast during the winter. Okay, another element, topography. Can we request Karen? Karen?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Topography. Topography affects climate in a variety of ways. The orientation of mountains of the prevailing wind affects precipitation. Windward slopes, those facing into the wind, experience more precipitation due to orographic uplift of the air. Leeward sides of mountains are in the rain shadow and thus receive less precipitation. Air temperatures are affected by slope and orientation, as slopes facing into the sun will be warmer than those facing away. Temperature also decrease as one moves toward higher elevations.
Okay, sige. Now, are you familiar with topography?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Jane
sir.
May. What is topography?
Mga landmasses ay yung mga kapatagan, gano'n, mga bundok.
Okay, correct. So meaning it focuses or it tells us the orientation of mountains that prevails, wind, and of course, affecting the precipitation. Yung tinatawag natin mga windward slopes, no? Yung mga those facing into the wind, kung palagi nakaharap doon sa mga winds are experience more precipitation due to, ano daw sabi doon, orographic uplift of the air. While yung mga leeward sides naman ng mga mountains are in the rain shadow and thus receive less precipitation. Meaning yung mga medyo nasa likod kanina ng bundok, no? So mga less precipitation daw sila. So the air temperatures are affected by slope and orientation as slopes facing into the sun will be warmer than those facing away. So imagine yung mga mountains natin or slope facing the sun, no? So, mas medyo mainit-init din compared sa nakatalikod palagi sa sun. The temperature also decreases as one moves towards higher elevation. Meaning, umiiba din ang temperature kung tumataas ang ating elevation. Naniniwala ba kayo?
Yes, sir.
Yes, kung medyo nasa bundok yung area natin or mataas tayo, syempre, ano bang temperature doon?
Mas malamig kasi sa baba.
Yes.
Malamig po.
Correct. Kaya I enjoy talaga, no? I enjoy yung mga mountain hiking kasi napakasarap ang lamig doon, no? Especially kapag merong kasama. Tama ba?
Sana all.
Sana all.
Sana all ba?
Tama.
Yes.
Fair Japon, sir.
Oo, mag-camping, 'di ba? O mga ganun. Sayang. Pero ngayon, parang the CHED is not allowed us to have field trips and camping because of mga COVID protocols. Pero maganda sana mga ganun. We can explore, no? Pero matakot din ako magdala ng 55 students sa bundok, no? Kasi baka anong mangyari sa inyo, may isa dyan, tapos sisingalin ako ng parents nyo. Sisingilin ako ng parents, sir, na wala ang aming anak, dapat bayaran mo rin ang anak. So, talaga magkakaroon tayo ng anak nito. Okay. Robotic pa rin ako? Ha?
Hindi man, sir. Depende lang sa signal.
Ay, okay man pala. Okay, sige. Now, let's continue. The next
Medyo
topic.
sa
Next topic or next element is humidity. May I request Fritz? Miss Fritz? What is humidity?
Okay, sir. Atmospheric moisture is the most important element of the atmosphere which modifies the air temperature. Humidity is the measurable amount of moisture in the air of the lower atmosphere. There are three types of humidity. Absolute humidity, the total amount of water vapor present in per volume of air and at a definite temperature. Relative humidity is the ratio of the water vapors present in air having a definite value at a specific temperature compared to the maximum water vapors that the air is able to hold without condensing at that given temperature. Taas, sir.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Is defined as the mass of water vapor grams contained a kilogram of air, and it presents the actual quantity of moisture present in a definite air. The humidity element of weather makes the day feel hotter and can be used to predict coming storms. The humidity element of climate is the prolonged moisture level of the area that can affect entire ecosystems.
Yes, so in short definition, when we say humidity, it refers to the moisture, no? Atmospheric moisture element, which modifies our air temperature, meaning measurable amount of moisture in the air of the lower atmosphere. Usually, doon man din nagkakaroon ng mga moisture.
Isa-isa pala. Ano daw?
Okay. So, okay na Fritz, na-mute na. Parang may kasama si Fritz. Okay. So, let's continue. So, since humidity is a very broad word or a very, ano siya, anong patawag siya? Large scope siya. So, there are types of humidity. 3 types actually. In other books, marami siya. Pero usually, nafo-fall pa rin into 3. We have absolute, no? Relative, and yung isa specific. So, when we say absolute, meaning it is just the total amount of water vapor present in per volume of air at a definite temperature. Kasi for example, i-measure natin yung humidity, yung moisture sa isang area kapag kinuha mo lang, no, yung water vapor present using the per volume of air at a different temperature, that is absolute humidity. Kasi nga, kinukuha mo lang yung total amount of the water vapor. While, relative humidity naman, ang tawag natin doon, if the ratio of the water vapors present in air having a definite volume at a specific temperature compared to the maximum water vapors that the air is able to hold without condensing at the given temperature. Kaya tinawag siyang relative. Yung specific naman, it is defined as the mass of water vapor in grams contained in a kilogram of air, and it represents the actual quantity of moisture present in a definite air. Kaya tinawag siyang specific kasi nga gi-specify mo talaga, gi-kilo from a kilogram of air the actual quantity of that moisture. No? So the humidity element of weather actually makes the day feel hotter and can be used to predict even coming storms. Yan din yung basis ng ating mga anong tawag niyan, yung mga anong tawag natin sa naga-describe ng ating weather, o mga weather forecaster natin. Kasi sabi dito, when the day feels hotter, no? At it can be used to predict with the coming storms. So the humidity element of climate is the prolonged moisture level of an area that can affect even the entire ecosystem. Okay, the last or the very basic type element is precipitation. May I request David? Ikaw na sa precipitation.
Precipitation. Precipitation is a term given to moisture that falls from the air to the ground. Precipitation includes snow, hail, sleet, drizzle, fog, mist, and rain. Atakang ko mag-English. Precipitation is simply any water from that falls the earth from overhead. Transformation as an element of weather. Precipitation determines whether outdoor activities are suitable or if the water levels of lakes and rivers will rise.
Okay, so please take note, that is fog ha. It's not fog. Okay, so from a very simplest definition, when we say precipitation, again, it refers to the moisture that falls from the air to the ground. Actually, there are many types or pwede nating itawag doon sa precipitation, including the snow, kasi it's still a moisture, no, that falls from the air to the ground. Aside from snow, we have hail, sleet, the drizzle, the fogs, the mist, and the rain. So they are from water. A precipitation is from water or that falls to the earth from overhead clouds formation, no? It is an element of weather that determines whether the outward or the outdoor activities are suitable or if the water levels of lakes and rivers will rise. Okay, so as an element of climate, precipitation is a long-term, predictable factor of a region's makeup. For example, sa desert, they may experience a storm, a weather, though it remains a typically dry area climate. So, possible ba sa mga desert, magkakaroon sila ng storm?
Sir.
Ah? Yes, Jen May?
Yes, sir. Yan ang sandstorm, sir.
Yes. Kasi for example, if we will describe Sahara Desert, it is not only discussing us about the desert itself. Meron din siyang mga nearby forest, no? Oo. Na it can affects the rate of the precipitation, no? Okay. Kahit sabihin natin for example na disyerto siya, but still, it can experience a storm. Kasi nga, a precipitation is movement, ano? So sabi kanina, or moving towards from the atmosphere down to the earth. Time na ba? Wala pa.
Time na, sir.
Okay.
Time na, sir.
Yes, time na. So there are two
na.
Okay, so there are two elements pa na hindi natin na-discuss. Those refers to cloudiness. Okay, please take note with that. Cloudiness and the visibility. Okay? Nagets na?
Para manasa psychology, di ba, sir?
Hindi pa. Hindi ko pa siya na-post. Oo. So, dito, maybe I can give you this as an assignment. Gusto ko, kamo naman mag-present para hindi naman ako magkarakaos tomorrow night. Okay? Can we have... Sana yon?